target is sleeping. It's our time to strike. Going dark.
What the hell are you doing?
I was just trying to make cereal.
What's up everybody, and welcome to Operator Blue. I am Taylor, I am the host of this channel, and on this channel we're going to be looking at guns, accessories, tactics, anything in between. I know this is the very first video, but if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, the like button, do whatever it is that YouTube people do, and help me out because I would love to keep producing this content for you. And also let me know if there's other things you'd like to see or what I can do to improve. I am not a soft guy. I wasn't a ranger, SEALs, anything like that. However, my day-to-day work that I've been doing for the past 13 years, 14 years, however long it has been, I do deal with defensive tactics. I am an instructor, firearms, stuff like that. I do teach people on this stuff. I'm not an expert by any means. There's always somebody out there who knows a lot more than you, but I just want to share some of the stuff that I like. I like guns, I like tactics, I like accessories, I like all this stuff, so I figured why not start making videos on things that I like. With that being said, I'm also broke, okay? I'm a working man, I have a family, I have a child, trying to get by however I can. So with that, if you didn't tell from the title, we'll be looking at the NVG30 because I can't afford PVS 14s. This is not a comparison to say that these are better than them by any means. This is just to show that if this is a product you want, here is the result you will get. Now, before we go any further, unfortunately, I have not had a moment to take it out and shoot anywhere. Fortunately, where I'm at, I can't shoot on my property, even though I'm about an acre. Gotta love the government. I just haven't been able to do that, but I do have some clips going over it, and we'll also be looking at the NVG10s just as a comparison. So first things first is the cost. Now, I've known about these for a while. I've had the NVG10s for quite some time. I've only had these for maybe a couple weeks, if that. I was looking it up. I've known that they were coming out for a while, and I was just scrolling the interwebs one day, and I was like, oh crap, they actually came out. Let me go up and pick up a set. When I was doing that, I also looked at a bunch of videos just to see like, hey, what's improved? Is it even worth it? And the one thing I noticed across the board is that everybody says these are the best night vision goggles digital, under $500. I have no relationships with anybody. You might see Ready Hour here. I just like that kind of stuff. I also thought it was decent, scene settery or scene stuff, whatever the technical term is. But I have no affiliations with anybody. I have no sponsors other than myself. I also have nothing really against anybody. So one of the biggest ones is a lot of sponsors via Good Night Gear. Nothing against the guy, nothing against the company, whoever runs it. On their website, these are like $500. You can go buy them from the exact same place, more than likely that he's getting them from, and spend $330. Not really gonna go into it anymore, but if you wanna support them, go ahead and support them. If you wanna save money, buy them for what they're worth. So if you can't see the trend, I like stuff that's worth your money. So I plan on doing some, cheap red dot things. I also have, a Romeo 1 Pro. I have Hollow Suns. I have decent stuff. However, I do live by the theory that something is better than nothing, meaning that some sort of night vision is better than no night vision. Sure, if you're going against someone with PVS 14s or whatever the panoramic night vision is, yeah, you're probably fucked. But if you're going against somebody that has no night vision, having something is considered, the great equalizer. Like if someone's stronger than you, a firearm, depending on, there's some people out there that don't think it's an equalizer. Oh, it absolutely is if you have to use it. From what I've seen for the price range, like this is the latest and greatest. Comparing it to the NVG10s pretty much makes the NVG10s obsolete. The main thing is the field of view and the refresh rate. So pulling them off of my helmet is very, very simple, but this is your NVG30. This thing pretty much destroys any of the other competition out there for now in the price range. Of course, Opsin makes some dope-ass night vision, but you can't get it for under 400 bucks. It's not going to happen. So in the price range that it is, this is pretty cool. Now, I don't know if you want to call me biased or not. Again, I've never really, outside of a cheap pair of like Yukon Recon binoculars that are old as crap from like the 90s, I've never really had any experience with night vision. I did get hands-on with the new Hollow Sun red dot combo, which seems to operate the exact same way, but that's my only experience with night vision outside of shooting a little bit with the NVG10s and using that for about the past year. So one of the standouts is in the viewfinder or in your monitor, the resolution is 1440p, so it looks crystal clear when you're wearing it. So even in the darkest environments, you're getting a clear image. Not to mention, it's pretty ergonomic. I like the look of this a lot more than the NVG10s. It's more your standard monocle style, and it's pretty lightweight and comfortable to wear. But yes, you can wear this for an extended period of time on your helmet. It's not gonna be super uncomfortable if you're used to wearing a helmet, and it's gonna just make you feel like a secret agent, to be honest with you.
I am ready to face any challenges that might be foolish enough to face me.
So going through the box of both of them, the accessories that they both come with are nearly identical. They come with your helmet mount, the clip to attach to the helmet mount, or the mount for the actual monocle itself. They're identical between the NVG30 and the NVG10. They come with a single 18650 battery. I don't remember the capacity wise, but I have so many of these that it doesn't really matter, but they both come with one. They come with a single charger. They come with a pouch if you want to put them in there if you don't keep them on your helmet. They both have some sort of lens cap that goes on the front, and really they are identical with the exception that the NVG30 also does come with a singular Wilcox mount. The only issue is that it doesn't have a bridge or anything, so technically if you were to mount it to your Rhino mount, it'd be in the center of your face, not really practical. With my personal experience, this mount actually is not that bad. It's not as nice as the Wilcox, maybe not as sturdy, but it actually holds up pretty well, holds tight. I haven't had any issues with mine clipping in. That has been a reported issue, or with it popping out. I personally haven't had that issue with either of them, but maybe I'm just lucky. And of course it does come with a little eye cap, eye shroud, whatever it's called. I don't personally like them, but if you want to rock one, you can. The NVG30s is super easy to take off, where the NVG10s, most people like fold them over. From a spec and technical aspect, the NVG10s viewfinder resolution is only 1080, where again, this is 1440p. So you are getting extra pixels out of it, you are getting a clearer image. With the exception of the resolution, they really both work really well in low light situations. But as you'll come to see, the field of view is night and day on the two. The NVG10s, I really wouldn't want to be in like any sort of firefight or anything like that with them. It's just the field of view is too piss poor. But if you're trying to just traverse and walk along a path or something like that, they'll work. But the refresh rate that you'll see coming up, it just kind of makes that not practical. So the NVG30's field of view is about 40 degrees, whereas the NVG10s are 25, and it is a noticeable difference. But regardless, if you're on a budget, depending on the cost, depending on how much you have, I recommend saving up that little bit more for the NVG30s. However, the NVG10 is still a great option for those of you on a budget, or if you're new to night vision and you're just testing it out. At this point, think of it, you're like trusty little sidekick to explore and walk around.
I'm a simple man. I like pretty dark-haired women and breakfast food.
So again, going further into the specs, spoiler, NVG30 wins. The NVG offers resolution up to 1440p, where NVG10, 1080p. Field of view, 40 degrees on the NVG30, about 25 on the NVG10, not to mention refresh rate. So the refresh rate is changeable on the 30. I don't recommend rocking anything other than 40.
Just sip it as fat and funky 40.
The NVG10 seems like it's maybe 30, and you notice it with latency, lag when you're walking around. It's not quick, it's not easy to use. So the battery life is something to be determined. The NVG10s say they last about 5 hours, where the NVG30, depending on settings for both, is about 6 hours. Now, one thing I also note with it, whenever you're not using it, take out the battery. Don't leave it in there. There is some sort of shadow drain. So one thing I'd like to note is don't leave the batteries in these. I've noticed that there's some sort of shadow drain when it's just sitting off. I don't recall noticing it on the 10s, but the 30s, I was messing around with them. They were in my truck, went to grab them after about 8 hours or so, and they were dead. So just be mindful of that. These, I would take the batteries out until you're ready to use them, throw them in real quick. One of the biggest ergonomic changes was the 30s, mounting it right on the bottom. It's super easy to get in. The NVG10s, when you had a battery in there on the side, it was a little wonky. Neither here nor there. You may like it one way or the other. I have noticed the 30s are a lot easier to get the battery in there and get everything lined up. Both of the units feel pretty solid, mostly plastic, but they do seem pretty solid. I've not had them and been fearful of breaking them. I haven't thrown them against the ground. I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you want to do a torture test, you're more than welcome to do it. For me, on a budget, I don't really want to test that out, but they're about the same weight. On paper, they're both rated at 237 grams. But again, with the upgraded sensor and all of that aside, I really like the new ergonomics of the NVG30. Now let's jump into some nighttime use, just filming around my house, between the NVG30 and the NVG10s. Now, for a weapon light, mounted light, I'm using a Votatsu, link in the description below. IR combo, it has a light, green laser, and IR combo. I'll be filming a separate video on that as well. What I like, just real quick, is that the green and the IR are slaved together, meaning you adjust the green, it adjusts the IR, but what you're seeing in these videos will be utilizing that. So Taylor from the future here, we're gonna be taking a look at the nighttime shots that I took with the videos. Now, some things to keep in mind real quick. The NVG30, this is directly recorded from the night vision itself. The NVG10s is a screen grab from this weird dash cam motorcycle app thing. For some reason, I tried a million different times. My phone doesn't like the built-in Wi-Fi for some reason from the NVG10, so any glitches you see, you don't see it actually through the night vision itself. It's just for some reason the Wi-Fi connection to my phone and then screen capturing it. So take that with a grain of salt. Then getting into it, we're using the NVG30 recorded directly from the monocle itself, and I've got an IR illuminator on the fence. Now, if you notice the ring camera, that there is no light on the ring camera, no visible light, that is an IR light. And in a second, you'll see the IR light goes off, and that's what was being picked up. Now we're going to move to the NVG10s. Now, both of these videos were shot at the same distance, about 15 yards from the fence that you see there. No ambient light around the area. Again, the glitches and the weird lag, that's for some reason my Wi-Fi not playing correctly. There is a noticeable lag difference between the two, but the Wi-Fi is making it a little worse, but it'll give you a clear representation of the field of view as well as the nighttime capabilities of it. The NVG30s, just the built-in sensor that captures lights, is by far better. And from looking at it, the quality you get straight from the monitor is better, but it's not as clear as the NVG30s. So then you can see with my ring IR light off, that's just a relative representation of the quality. And then turning the IR illuminator on the device itself, you can see it illuminating up the area. Now I'm gonna put the NVG10, NVG30 right next to each other. Now I don't have a way to mount them at the same time, and I wasn't holding both of them at the same time. So the motions that I do in the cameras are slightly off, but you can notice I'm just looking down my street. The NVG30, I am messing around with my IR laser. I also go to look at some lights that are on the side of my house, and you can see the gating from the sensor itself. Obviously, the NVG10 blows it out completely, and the NVG30 pretty much handles it like a champ. While you're running and gunning or doing whatever it is that you're doing, you do need to worry about focusing. Now, for the most part, you can focus it to about 50 yards or so, and you'll be pretty much just fine as long as you're just traversing or anything like that. But if you need to look at like a notepad or something like that, you're gonna need to adjust. And the adjustable diopters, super easy to use. Just simply turn the dial, get a sharp image depending on your view. This is especially useful for if you're wearing glasses or you're not wearing glasses. You can adjust it on the fly. Now, I've not had a chance to test it, but the NVG30s are built to withstand some tough conditions. They do have a IP water rating, which is IPX7, so you can use it in rain, fog, dusty environments, have a little like wipe cloth just to clean it off, which they come with. And if you like it, they come with an automatic brightness. I don't personally like it. I turn it off because it almost feels like a weird gate action, and it'll flicker and it'll cut itself for a second while it's switching brightness. I just set it on the lowest brightness. That's what I personally like, and I go from there. And yes, when you're looking through it, it does come with a low battery indicator, which we've all been there. Your gear dying right when you need it the most.
Son of a bitch.
So let's go over just a classic pros and cons of the two units. First up, the pros. The 1440p resolution makes it crystal clear. Again, if you're comparing it to a PVS 14, not comparable to an analog Magic Voodoo, but it is pretty good. At only 237 grams without a battery, weighs weighs it down a little bit. It's pretty lightweight. You're really not going to notice it. Now, while it doesn't have the same battery length as a PVS 14, 18650s are fairly easy to come by and they're rechargeable, whereas you're not supposed to use rechargeable batteries with PVS 14s. These you can recharge on the fly. If you have like a solar charger or anything like that, I mean, I've got like 20 of these things laying around. I think while the battery life of one battery does not compare anywhere near to a PVS 14, the ability to just charge these things, keep a few of these on hand, charge them wherever you might be with power or solar, is a pro with this. I think it's a pretty durable design. The entire mount mechanism is metal, whereas this is plastic. Personally, I like it. Whether you like it or not, the IR illuminator is a pro. Again, you don't have to rely on just ambient lighting, as you saw in the nighttime clips. Pitch black, no ambient lighting. It's still picking it up, but if you turn on the IR illumination, it lightens it up that much more. And the diopters being adjusted to your settings is a fantastic thing. And the addition of a USB charger or USB port on the side where you can charge it also while you're using it, and a built-in SD card is fantastic. If what I've told you so far makes you want to get one, smash that like button. Now let's talk about some cons. If you're comparing it to the NVG10s, these are more expensive, roughly $100 to $120 more expensive. Another con, these are not military grade. They are not built to the standards and toughness of a PVS 14, so it's just simply not going to match up on that end. Of course, pro and a con, the IR illuminator can be seen by other people with NVGs, whereas a PVS 14 with no IR illumination and just a little bit of light, they work magic. So some practical applications and tips with the NVG30. Big spoiler, it involves not tripping over things because of the increased field of view. The NVG30s are incredibly versatile. Whether you're an avid hiker, security professional, or a wildlife enthusiast, these night vision goggles, the NVG30s, can significantly enhance your experience. If you're a hiker, the clear and detailed view helps you navigate tricky areas, tricky terrain, and you're gonna be able to see all of that. Now, I don't personally want to hike at night. I don't like bears, but if that's what you're into, fantastic. If you're a security professional who's trying to be like John Wick, awesome. Your normal like gangbanger robbers probably not going to have a pair of these, and that's going to put them at a significant disadvantage. Kind of even if you're moving over into the law enforcement realm. Again, these are not as good as PVS 14s, but where a used pair is like $2,000, if not more. Let me know. I'm probably out of date there. For $350, give or take. These get you into that realm and nobody else is gonna be able to see you in the dark. And of course, wildlife enthusiasts, if that's what you wanna use, you can go look at some animals in the dark. Now, to ensure these last a long time, I do take care in them. I don't quite treat them like I would something that's more robustly built, but regardless, I wanna take care of them. It's recommended to always store it in the protective case when not in use. I just leave it on my helmet. I have a stand for my helmet. That's kind of where I leave it. Sure, a protective case is gonna be better though. Always make sure to clean the lens thoroughly. Other pro that I kind of missed is versus the PVS 14s, you don't have to use the lens cap. This thing can stare directly at the sun. You're not gonna do anything to it, but you wanna keep that glass clear. You don't want scratches, anything like that. So just kind of keep up with it. Remove dust, remove anything that's just gonna kind of work its way in there and ultimately, screw it up. And just a main tip, make sure that your 18650 batteries are charged up. You go out there, you throw one in, find out it's dead. Well, this thing is pointless to you. It's a paperweight. When using the NVG30s in dark environments, there's just a few tips to keep in mind. In very dark areas, the IR illuminator is going to be fantastic. Just remember that while it may increase visibility for you, it's also going to increase visibility of where you're at. So just take that from a tactical consideration to be mindful of it. Adjust the diopters for the clearest image, and take a break if you're using the goggles for an extended period of time. This may not affect everybody, but nobody likes a headache induced from this, kind of like wearing VR headsets. It kind of sucks. I don't know if everyone's affected by it. Let me know. It takes a few hours for me to get there, but it does happen and I need just a little bit of relief. Maybe it's just me, but trust me, personally, they're a real thing. I mean, ultimately, to wrap it up, this is a great night vision unit. Whether it's an introductory thing for you to get into the world of night vision, or this is what you want to roll with, whether it's in LARPing, airsoft, whatever the case may be. Honestly, this thing is awesome. It's a significant upgrade over the NVG10s. offering better resolution, a reported better battery life, and just more user-friendly with built-in recording, nice tactile buttons, feedback directly on the screen, increased field of view, on and on and on and on. Whether you're using it for a professional purpose or just for fun, I think the price increase over the 10s, this thing makes it absolutely worth it. And disregarding the 10s, if you were to just look for night vision goggles, this thing is absolutely worth it. I mean, when I first started using it, I mean, it kind of felt like upgrading from a flip phone to a smartphone. Like, this just opens up the night and allows you to see everything. Again, bias, I've never used real things, but just the ability to use these is pretty wild. I've shown a couple of people at work, taking it around, and the one thing I always get is like playing Call of Duty. I mean, it's pretty crazy for what you can get for the price. So with this all in mind, let me know which one you would pick. Again, for the price, this one's fantastic. Just using the 10s as a comparison, let me know. I mean, everyone's on a budget. If this is all you can get, it'll do the job. But if you can save up and get one of these, this thing is gonna get you there.